Hi students, today we are going to learn about a poem from our national poet Rabindra Tagore, and the poem is Gitanjali number 50. Rabindranath Tagore in his poem Gitanjali says it's just like a conversation between God, and now here we can see the conversation here. It's like a small story. You just listen and you will enjoy, but the poem is having its own beauty. The thing here, when you go on listening to the poem, you should understand something like this: how human beings are selfish. The selfish nature of ours is also giving up the selfish product. So, when we are thinking only about ourselves, what will happen? What we gain from this selfishness is nothing. So, you just see how the poet is saying about this writing on the on his conversation. The poem starts like this: I had gone a begging from door to door in the village path, when thy golden chariot appeared in the distance like a gorgeous dream, and I wondered, who was this, the king of all kings? Yes. Now, the person who is referring here, the poet or the person who is used as a speaker here, he says that I was begging from the door to door in a village path. The person here referred is the speaker here is a beggar. He is not a rich person. He is a poor man who is already living in the help. Living with the help of someone. So you see, a beggar is someone who doesn't have anything for himself. He is living in the charity of others. Got it? So if I have a will, I will help the poor. So if the poor is helped because it's of my goodwill. So he is living because someone else is having the good nature. So he himself is not having anything. That's what he's saying. He is a beggar. First of all, he is a beggar, and he is going from door to door begging for things. And when he was begging for things, he finds from far a golden chariot. You know, chariot, I don't think so that any Indians will not be knowing what is chariot. So we have the assumption like the gods travel in chariot with the, and two not with the wooden chariot as we have. It's like the golden chariot there, and he sees from distance a golden chariot coming, and it was when he saw that chariot, it was just like in dreams, because seeing someone coming in the golden chariot is something dreams. We know the cost of gold, and we can't expect someone coming, or our president or anyone, maybe the US president coming in golden chariot is impossible. So he's saying that it was like a golden, in the golden chariot, someone coming, and I felt as if it was in dreams, because the person who came in the chariot was none other than the God himself. And he's saying that, who was the king of all kings? My hopes rise, and me thought my evil days were not at an my evil days were at an end, and I stood waiting for alms to be given unasked, for wealth scattered on all sides in the dust. Yes. Now he is further saying that when I saw that the King of Kings, king is a man, who is a king is a person who is ruling all of us. So who is the king of kings is the God, because even the king is under the control of God. So that's why we call God as king of kings. So here he is saying that when I saw the king of kings, it's not I saw a king, I saw the king of kings, all kings. And you know, it's nothing to be said, and I'm so blessed that I could see the God directly. And when I saw him, my thoughts rise so high, and I felt that my bad days are gone. I felt that my evil days are at an end. I feel, of course, you meet God, you know, it's like the blessed days of the further for you. So even the bigger thought, of course, my days are done. I am going to have a happy life. And I stood waiting for alms to be given unasked. Now the beggar is thinking or dreaming of giving some other beggars without being asked. So I told you, he is also getting a feeling of helping others. So it's because he's feeling, when he gets more money, he can also help the poor people. That's what he thinks. and for wealth scattered on all sides in the dust. So of course God is there in front of, he will give me everything, and of course I will be surrounded by the wealth. Now he is very confident that he is facing God and he is going to get everything. The chariot stopped where I stood. Further he goes with the third stanza like this. The chariot stopped where I stood. Thy glance fell on me, and thou camest down with a smile. I felt that the luck of my life had come at last. Then of a sudden thou didst hold out thy right hand and said, what hast thou to give me? So now Rabindranath Tagore says that as a beggar, when he saw the God, he was expecting a lot of things, even giving alms for the poor way being unasked. So he is already very conformed with having all the wealth. So now, as he expected, the King of Kings came near him, stopped his chariot, he came down with a smile looking at the beggar. I felt now when the God smiled at the beggar felt that yes, this is the very best time of my life. This is the luckiest day. Maybe till this end of my life I was begging, and this will be the best time of my life. And all of a sudden thou didst outright hand. And what happened? When when God came there, smiled at him, and smiled at the beggar, sorry. So, he smiled at the beggar and he raised his and he showed his hand. The God was begging towards the beggar. And the God asked the beggar, what hast thou to give me? What do you have for me? Do you have anything for me? Can you give me something? You see, a God is as beggar saying the God felt that he is rich, but unfortunately the God himself is coming in front of the beggar and begging to the beggar. That's funny, isn't it? So now all the hopes of the beggar is gone, because he thought that he's going to be the millionaire now. Everything is in town. Now what happens? Ha! What a kingly jest was it, to open thy palm to a beggar to beg? I was confused and stood undecided, and then from my wallet I slowly took out the least little grain of corn and gave it to thee. Now the poet is saying that, oof, what was that kingly jest? What was that to ask from a beggar by a king? Whatever it is. What did the beggar do? He put his hands on his wallet, and from the things that he had begged from others, he took the smallest corn. You understand the way how he is giving is the beggar giving to the other one is the smallest thing in the from the corn, and he gave to thee. That he gave to the God. He gave to the God, and the God begged him and went. But how great my surprise when at the day's end I emptied my bag and the floor to find a least little gram of gold among the poor heap. I bitterly wept and wished that I had had the heart to give thee my all. Now what is happening? When he goes there, to his surprise at the day's end, after that, after giving God a small corn, he starts begging again. He collects something and he comes back to his home, and he's emptying his bag. He's looking after what did he earn on the day. And while he was emptying his bag, he found a small corn that he had given to God is turned into gold. And the beggar started crying. Why? What could be the reason? Because he felt the speaker is saying that I bitterly wept and wished, I cried and I wished that I had the heart to give thee my all. Whatever I had, if I had given to God, then the God would have turned all those things to gold. He would have become rich. So you understand one thing, the person who was living in the wish of or the grant of charity of someone was not charitable enough to give to the God. That's what we all do. We just think about your own self. When we pray to God, we just pray to God to give. We have the list of things to the God to give. I want this, I want that, I want this. All the requirements are there. Do we ever try to help in the same way to someone else who is there? If directly God comes to me, we are not at all ready to give him. That's what in Gitanjali 50 Rabindranath Tagore says, and such a wonderful poem, and really it deserved the Nobel Prize, and also to be from the first outsider from Europe. So the poet here is saying is connection to the God. So the nature of giving, that should be there. When we give only, then we gain. That's what we should understand here. If you are selfish, maybe to the God or to your neighbor or to your parents or to your siblings, anyone in your neighborhood or anyone in your life, if you fail to give, what you give you will get back. So if you fail to give, you will fail to receive also. So if you give, you will receive. It's not only about the property, everything. So maybe sometimes when you give, you may not receive, but wait, after few time, after in few years or somewhere, God will recognize your pain of or your work, and you will be as you deserve, you will be getting back. That's how the beggar also felt pain again, because of his bad nature of not giving to someone. He still remains a beggar throughout his life. Got it? That's why I remember the book, the motivational book by Kiyoshi's Rich Dad and Poor Dad, where he says that give. The thing is says that if you give, it's very true to get back. Even in the Bible, the sacred book says that. So it's something like, it's not only in the Indian culture here. Rabindranath Tagore is saying every culture says that you give, you will get back. It's not that to get back that you're giving, no, but you give, you will be earning from one or the other side. You see, God did not give immediately him the gold thing, isn't it? The coin turned to gold when he reached back his home. After doing works, after again begging for long hours, and at the end of the day, he goes, and when he empties his bag, he finds the corn there. So, in the same way, maybe at the end, we will be getting the fruit, but the fruit of giving will be gained. And thus, the Rabindranath Tagore ends this poem, which is very beautiful, only with 3 stanzas, which says about the human nature towards the God. Thank you for listening.